All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about a simple digital message you probably send every single day, and I'm going to make the case that it might just be the most valuable one ever created. Seriously, it's a powerful economic asset that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
So here it is. This is the big, bold claim at the heart of our whole discussion today. It sounds a little nuts, right? The humble calendar invite, more valuable than an email, maybe even a contract? Stick with me, because once you see the logic behind this, it's going to make perfect sense.
To really understand why the calendar invite is so important, we first have to talk about the problem itself. And that problem is all about the hidden costs, the ways we bleed value because we're managing our most important resource, time, with completely the wrong tool.
I mean, think about it. Time is the one thing you can't get more of. Every business, every transaction, it all runs on time. And yet, how do we communicate about it? We use email, a tool that was designed for static, one-way messages, not action. That's like trying to build a skyscraper with a hammer. This mismatch, it creates so much friction, risk, and just massive inefficiency. Let's break down why. Okay, so this is where it all clicks. On one hand, you've got email. It's ephemeral, right? It gets buried in your inbox in like an hour. It's one way, you just shoot it out into the void and hope for the best, which means you're constantly following up. And it has no real structure. But then you have the calendar invite. It's persistent. It lives right there on your calendar until the event happens. It's two-way because that little RSVP is an instant auditable feedback loop. And here's the kicker. It's structured. It natively carries data, time, status that can actually power automation. It's a whole different ballgame. And that structural advantage is precisely what lets us completely redefine the calendar invite. It's no longer just a notification. It becomes something so much more powerful. It becomes a digital asset. See, when you send an invite and you get that RSVP back, you create this powerful thing called an event record. This isn't just a friendly note. This is verifiable, auditable proof that a commitment was sent, received, and acknowledged. That simple little click moves you from the fuzzy world of, hey, I hope you saw my email, to the concrete world of accountability.
So here's the big mental shift. We've got to stop looking at a calendar invite as just a reminder for a meeting. It's actually a microagreement. It's a digital handshake. It's a unit of transactional time that has real, tangible economic value.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, but where does the rubber meet the road? Let's look at a few industries where time isn't just money, it is literally everything.
Let's start with two sectors where a missed appointment can be an absolute catastrophe: healthcare and legal. We're talking about situations where a simple scheduling mistake can have massive financial and, frankly, human consequences. And the impact of getting this right? It is absolutely staggering. By moving these critical communications from a flimsy email to a solid, calendar-native commitment, organizations in these fields are looking at a potential 5 to 10 times return on their investment. I mean, that is just a mind-blowing number. So how does it actually play out? Well, in healthcare, that event record we just talked about, it dramatically slashes the number of costly patient no-shows. For lawyers, it acts as a digital receipt, as proof of notice, which basically eliminates those terrifying missed court dates and filing deadlines. In both of these worlds, it's all about creating an unbreakable, totally auditable chain of accountability.
Okay, now let's switch gears. Let's look at businesses that are built on recurring revenue. Think finance or software as a service. For them, the critical moments aren't just one-off meetings. They're things like renewals and service windows.
And surprise, surprise, the results here are also huge. We're talking about a 3 to 6 times return on investment just by changing how they communicate about these crucial time-based events. Just think about it. Instead of sending a renewal email that's probably going to get lost in a spam folder, you send what's called a life cycle invite. It puts that renewal date right there on the customer's calendar. All of a sudden, it's not a surprise bill, it's an expected commitment. That alone can crush customer churn. Or for a utility company, sending a service window invite for a planned outage proves they were proactive. It all comes down to making your commitments visible and real in your customer's life. It builds so much trust.
So, we've seen the direct financial hit, right? But the true power here, the real potential, goes way deeper. It's about using time as what developers call a primitive, like a fundamental building block, a Lego brick, for automation. And the logic behind this is it's beautifully simple. Step 1, an invite gets sent. Step 2, the RSVP comes back. Step 3, that verifiable event record is officially created. And then Step 4, That record acts as a trigger. It's the green light that kicks off an entire automated workflow, billing, compliance checks, you name it.
And this simple flow just unlocks some fascinating strategic possibilities. For compliance, that RSVP becomes your auditable evidence of awareness, which is way more solid than a flimsy email read receipt. For marketing, imagine sending a flash sale invite that lives on a customer's calendar until it happens. Talk about persistence. And when you look at all this data at scale, you start to get this telemetry of commitment. You can see who's engaged and, more importantly, who might be a risk.
You know, when you take a step back, what this all really points to is one of the biggest oversights of the entire digital age. We have been using our clunkiest, least evolved tool, email, to manage our most precious asset, time. The future isn't about blasting out more messages. It's about sending fewer, smarter, time-aware commitments.
And that brings me to my final question, and this one's for you. Just think about your own work for a second. What critical process, what high-stakes deadline, what vital workflow in your organization is still just relying on the hope that someone, somewhere, reads an email? Because I'll bet there's a better, smarter, and a whole lot more valuable way to manage it.